A one and a two and a chick-a-boom a chick.
Before we jump in, a quick shout out to our friends at Builder Funnel. AI is changing how homeowners find remodelers, and Builder Funnel is already helping remodelers win big. Their clients are becoming top recommendations in ChatGPT and other AI platforms, generating new referral leads directly from AI search, and seeing results like a 400% increase in AI-driven referrals for a Charlotte remodeler. But it's not just leads. They've generated multiple millions for their clients from AI already. If you want your remodeling company to be one that homeowners find first, whether they're searching Google or asking AI, head over to builderfunnel.com/ROTR. Builderfunnel.com/ROTR. Welcome to the Remodelers on the Rise podcast. Peter, what number podcast recording is this on the Remodelers on the Rise podcast for you?
Well, I don't know. We didn't talk about that before we came on. I'm not sure. Maybe 3 or 4.
Oh, are you somebody that doesn't like to be put on the spot? I'm sorry.
I'm assuming 3 or 4. I'm not sure.
I bet
Bailey
you
can
4.
fact check us.
I bet you 4. I'll have my people
Okay.
check into that. Probably number 4. Elliot, this is your maiden voyage. How you feeling? Feeling good?
Yeah, feel great, man. I've got my sea legs ready.
All right. Oh, so he's quick on the feet. I said maiden voyage. He's using nautical examples and whatnot. All right.
His dad was in the boat industry, so he's already got those references locked down.
Oh, interesting. So I've got Peter Rainey. Got a couple titles. Rainey Blair Weidman is the remodeling side. Sunshine on a Rainy Day is the nonprofit. Do look up Sunshine on a Rainy, RANNEY Day in Roswell, Georgia. And for the last 1 year, 5 months, he has been a Remodelers on the Rise peer group coach. He runs our Ignite peer group. And then I have Elliot Whitstruck, Built with Love. I like your logo. I went to your website. I'm like, this is just so nice. Down in Nashville, Tennessee. And then both of you are also, what's your title with DataX?
Founders. Technically lead of product for me and lead of marketing or lead of sales for Peter.
All right, there we go. So we're going to talk some DataX, which is their AI, custom AI agent. Did I even say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Doing
These
great.
AI things, it can be tricky, right? So we're going to talk about DataX, and we're also going to talk about this topic that nobody's talking about these days, which is AI. In particular, how do we use it? Not just like, let me give you these pie in the sky ideas. Let me give you this 50,000 view ideas. No. Let's get into the practicality of it. Let's get into the messiness of it. Let's get into the clunkiness of it. Let's also get into the time savings and the efficiency and the productivity that can come from it. And maybe this title of this is just getting real with AI and digging into that. So if we can start by give us a little background on kind of how DataX came to be. What kind of problems were you trying to solve? How did that get started?
Yeah, DataX started last January. And really, Elliot and I, as business owners, construction business owners, we were trying to solve our own problems. And I had much less technical experience background. Elliot has much more technical experience background as a coder and all that nerdy stuff. I'm like a blue collar nerd, so to speak, but we're trying to solve business, like problems in our businesses. And that started with, well, I would like to have like Zillow information on my leads, or I would love to have like a cover photo from Google on my job, so I don't have to like populate a new photo. So it's just like some simple things, and Quo and Dialpad, those became relevant too, as, hey, I'm texting and calling my clients. I'd love for that information just to automatically go into my record, my customer record. And so we're just kind of creating these things on our own, and to solve our own problems. We're telling our other contractor friends, buddies, things like that. And they're like, well, I would like to have that. And really just kind of spawned this idea of DataX, and let's make a service available for other contractors that they probably are facing the same issues and want the same solutions for their company. And of course, fast forward through that, so we have a bunch of integrations, probably 20 plus integrations. AI has, officially at the scene. It's been here for a while. It's been here in theory since like the 50s, but it's here now. And so we've transitioned.
1950s? What are we talking
Yeah,
about?
it's all used.
On
Yeah. Yeah, like the 1950s. Yeah,
Phew.
but it was all theoretical research. How could we research
Yeah.
things faster, more efficient, more consistent? And so the thought process was there, but we didn't have the compute power, all the nerdy. We didn't have all that stuff to make it happen,
Yeah.
and now we do. And so now it's at our fingertips to use. So ultimately, the toolbox, we still do that. A lot of our users love the toolbox integrations, but AI has definitely taken like the forefront, the stage, like taken all the spotlight, and in a good way, right? And that's where we've kind of developed these agents. We start out with MCP, which is also super powerful for more, I'd argue, maybe some more advanced users or users trying to do like bigger things. But the agents is like a place where we really settled in, and this idea of like an autonomous agent that can be set up specific to your business and do things. Now, with that being said, we see a lot of users trying to set up these kind of like monolith things. It's like, this is going to be my CEO. It's going to make decisions for me and read my emails and make, do all the stuff. Start small, like start literally small, like grammar checker, right? A grammar checker agent to just make sure you're having a decent, proper sentence structure, misspelled words, things like that. I think the opportunity now for most business owners comes down to reporting and having, as a small business, we've never had good reporting structures, like people reporting information back to us. That's like the best use case that we're seeing now, is to have your source of truth, job trade, whatever that could be, like report back to you, get emails in your inbox or whatever that is. So that's, I think that's like the simplest use case now.
Peter, slow down a little bit. We got like seven ideas going there. Elliot, what would you kind of say related to some of what he was sharing?
I would back up. You asked how we got started. I'm doing Built with Love and this at the same time. So my first thought is like, how do I manage both of those? How do I manage both of those companies? And so like finding the solutions to do that. So it's like, okay, can I automate, or can I get, like Peter said, the Zillow data? I was doing that manually in Built with Love. How can I automate some of this stuff in Built with Love so I have more time to do DataX? How can I automate some DataX stuff to make sure I'm focusing on Built with Love, and back and forth? So we're looking at like receipt processing, lead intake. Like you said, the grammar checker is pretty big. How do I do material procurement? How do I do support tickets in DataX? How do I do something there to help with that, alleviate that? So it's always just thinking about what do we need ourselves, and kind of building that direction.
And I think I just want to kind of get this out on the radar of, I asked you, what problems were you trying to solve with DataX? And I think my kind of hypothesis, the thing I've been throwing out to my clients lately is, hey, instead of looking at everything and anything that people can do with AI, also comparing yourself to somebody who has literally invested 100+ hours in understanding AI, and then you going, well, shoot, look at what they're able to do. Yeah, but they've done the work. This is not a snap of the finger. I don't want to pour like too much cold water on it, but I think it's good to pour a little cold water on it, of going, this isn't like super dirt simple, I just click and it's done. Like, you've got to wrestle with this. You have to understand it. You have to invest time. You have to bring in experts if needed on it. But I think that idea of stepping back from AI and as a remodeler, saying, what problem do you want to solve with AI? And like Peter and Elliot, like you're both saying, let's get a little bit more micro with it. Let's find a specific use case and let's set that up and let's get that going. It's similar to, when somebody 5 years ago was getting started with a program like JobTread, and people were like, I'm so overwhelmed with stuff. Well, what'd we tell them? Hey, a piece at a time. Just start with this part. Start with this part. Do you agree that when it comes to AI, maybe going a little bit more micro might be a less annoying / frustrating way of approaching it? Or am I being a wuss?
No, solving a problem in your business that doesn't exist is a problem in itself, whether it's trying to implement AI or whatever, any kind of process within your business. But as an encouragement to most people, there's a chart that's out there on the internet, and it's kind of like the usage of AI. And like 84% of the world has never even touched AI. And so you're talking about like 0.3% of the world has paid for AI. So even us talking about it, or people listening and trying to get, to that, you're so far, you're like way on ahead of the curve. And so like taking, start small. Like it's that's going to allow you, and don't feel like you're missing out. Like FOMO is real in this, right? You're seeing this person set the thing and it does all stuff, and I want that. Well, he has different problems in your business, so that's why he set that up.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Elliot, tell me AI agents. AI agents. What is an AI agent? How do you kind of explain that in plain language? And then where I kind of want to start moving towards is, let's look at some specific examples. I might do a little screen sharing, might get into the weeds of things, but AI agents, tell me about them.
Sure. Let me ask you a question, Kyle. Do you use
Time out, Elliot. Time out, Elliot. You've never been a guest on my podcast. I'm the boss. I'm the one that asks questions. I don't like to be put in the hot seat. That's why I built a business where all I do is talk. Okay, permission granted. What do you got?
Okay, it's an easy question. When you use AI, how do you get it? How do you interact with AI? Is it typing or talking to it?
Primarily typing is how I use it.
And then you ask it to perform tasks and questions, I'm sure, right? Or answer questions and research.
That is true.
Okay. Does it answer those questions or do the research without you typing or talking to it?
Not very well, no. Or at all, I suppose.
So the idea of an AI agent is having it do what you're asking to do automatically without you asking to do it. So, and how you get that is like a prompt or a set of instructions you give it, and then it is triggered maybe by emails or by a text message or by a webhook, which is like a trigger from from any piece of software sends a webhook which triggers it. Or you set it on a schedule every day at 5 o'clock, do a project manager analysis of my active jobs. Those are agents because they take your prompt or instructions and perform the task automatically. And so it's essentially just performing the prompt that you would normally just type to it. Every day at 5 o'clock, you might go type, hey, let's do an analysis. Instead of you typing to it, you're already starting the grill up because you're trying to get dinner early, right? So you can have more playtime with the family and kids.
No,
and
we're not starting the grill up early because of that. We're starting it up because as a 43-year-old man, I see very clearly how we are going to be eating in the 4 o'clock hour. 5 o'clock on the dot rolls around and I'm ready to go. Like, it's dinner time. What do you mean we're eating at 6:15?
Well, then you don't have time to like type to your agent or type to your AI. So the idea of an agent is for it to be scheduled and it runs that prompt and analysis for you at the time you want it to. So
cool. So, and if you were to describe DataX to me and marry it with AI agent, describe that a little bit more.
Okay, so DataX has a bunch of different components. Peter talked about like our automation integrations for like Zillow data, Google Street View, Google Satellite View, Quo and Ring Central integration. That's like an automation that's built inside of DataX that you can connect to your job tread. And then the other part is like what we just talked about, like typing to an AI. That is also inside of DataX, and it's connected to all that other data we just talked about. And then the agent part is it can do those prompts that you're typing to it automatically on these different triggers, whether it be on a schedule from an email that you send it or from a webhook from any other software. And it can encompass all that data that we just talked about. So it's kind of DataX was built on this platform, and then it just kind of grows and encompasses all of your data, and it kind of connects it, runs instructions, runs reports and analysis based on how you want it to.
Good. I'm just thinking of the people listening to this and going, some people are starting right from the very beginning. Some of them have some different things going. Again, can't encourage you enough. Like, just start with something small. Start with something simple. So for example, if people were like, all right, I got my job tread all set up. I got that going. I sign up with DataX and get that moving. Walk me through a few of the steps and then show me one of the AI agents. Ooh, we're already, look at me go. AI agent, I understand what that means better than before. Along with my listeners, this is going great. But walk us through a few steps and then maybe show me the receipt feature or show me that Zillow feature, and let's get practical.
Yeah, we'll show you something easier. We'll start with, Peter likes to show this one off. It is the receipt agent. Not the receipt agent. It is the grammar agent, is...
Peter, why do you like that one so much? Do you feel like sometimes you might mistype things?
Of course. Yeah, construction field guys, they got big fingers or callous. They're not sensitive typers. They're typing fast.
They're typing fast, and maybe their idea doesn't always get there.
Or if they're dictating, right? It's like the dictation isn't always perfect.
It's good.
And so what a grammar checker agent would do is you could set it up maybe every time your project managers or field guys submit a daily log it goes through their daily log and just updates the grammar to be more professional or takes out the misspellings. Same thing with comments. That would be a good way to use a grammar checker. And it's not intrusive at all. And so that you can just set up and run in the background, like you said, Kyle, to like experiment with some AI integration to make sure, you're getting your toes wet.
In that example, that would be a DataX AI agent. The grammar one is coming in. Okay.
You want me to show you?
Yes. So if you're listening to this on the audio version, glad you're listening to this. If you go to remodelersontherise.com and click on podcast, you'll see this episode probably near the top if you're listening to it. And then you can click on the video version if you want to see the screen. We'll put the video version in the show notes as well, so it's even easier.
So I've got my grammar agent up here, but how you would get to it is if you're on DataX, you would click on this agents tab here, and maybe you don't have any agents yet, so you want to add a new agent from the library. We've got all these pre-built agents for you. I would encourage you to read through the instructions and update them, but the grammar checker, when a new comment or daily log is created inside JobTread, you will receive webhook data. Your job is to look at the comment and daily log and fix the grammar to be more professional while still capturing the essence and emotion of the content. Update the comment and daily log with your edits. When finished, give me a summary of what the previous content was and the new content you shared with. So
that last part is, where do you view that? You view that in DataX before you approve it?
No, I let it auto approve. Okay. I let this just do it. And it just shows if I go back through my grammar checker logs, I can see the logs, the historical logs of everything it has done. Okay. Okay. So that's where I would see that. Okay. So you would install
and apologize, going back one more step, sign up with DataX, some linking to go, okay, I need DataX to communicate with JobTread. There's just some getting started steps that's pretty straightforward. And then once you have that connection going, bam, you can start messing with the agents.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
So we can go through here. Here's one that came in. So we got the webhook, and the webhook looks crazy, but the AI knows how to read this, right? And so this is asking, this is just a message, an internal comment logged from Cyril asking what the paint colors were for. And then it updated to, could you please confirm the paint colors for the SH back offices, rather than just paint colors for the SH back offices ? Just, could you please confirm, that it's so important. It's just 4 little words, and it might not seem big to some people, but to me, that's a huge deal because we're always about providing context. We need to be able to take everybody's message inside of the company. Every message needs to stand alone in context, so we don't get confused in the client.
And just professionalism, right? Professionalism, how they would communicate. So again, this one, I was out in the field. I typed in paint colors for SH back offices, ? And when I click submit there, the agent ran right then and there.
Correct. Yep.
Updated it.
Yep.
By the time the client sees it, it's probably the updated version.
Yep. And it probably took 2 seconds for it to do that. And so the client would not have seen it that quick, I don't think.
Yeah. Good. So that one's a simple one. Hey, every daily log that we're creating, every message to clients, it's automatically grabbing that. That was fun. Move on to the next one. Peter, what's one of your favorite ones?
There's the receipt processor. Well, that's our most popular.
What do you love about that one?
Well, biggest part is job costing, right? So like a lot of contractors, we suffer from poor job costing. Well, now you get a invoice or receipt in your inbox, or maybe you're at Home Depot or Lowe's or Menards. Take a picture, email it to the agent. It runs to the instructions that you've set up, and then it finds your job, finds your budget, finds your cost item, uploads the set attachment, and job costs it for you. So you can mark it as paid, you can mark it as final if you care to, but it's a clean, just simple way to like have this usually tedious process of a pile of receipts. Where do these go? A lot of clicks through JobTread.
And Elliot, the trigger for this one is sending it to a specific email.
Yeah. So each agent in DataX can get its own email. So this one for me, BWL built with love is my prefix. And then I can set this agent to receipts. So BWL.receipts is the email address that this agent gets. So I can copy this right here, go open my Google and just start forwarding email receipts to it. And it's going to follow a set of instructions. Peter mentioned it just goes through some steps.
Yeah, pause there again. I'm pausing just because I want to get super practical. If that's my email for that, and I have my carpenters, taking receipt pictures, my project manager, the other step would be to, if we're using Gmail as an example, is kind of add that as a contact. So when I type in receipts, it automatically pulls, bwl.receipt.agent, right? But now everybody's got that. All I need to do when I see that receipt is click forward, start typing in the word receipt. There's the email. And when I click send, that's the trigger for this AI agent to go through the receipt processor process.
Yeah, exactly. And so here's our dumpster bill from the other day. And so it came in via email with an attachment here. You can see it was $28.
$28.
Light trailer that day, I guess.
Oh, man.
And so it starts by reading the PDF and finding the vendor and everything. And it finds the job that it was for, finds the total, finds the date, and it goes through and it creates the bill. And so now in JobTread, we could open up that vendor bill. We would see it costed to the job, or to the cost item for dumpster on that job, and we would see it already marked as paid. It sounds like an easy task, but we can just forward the emails, and no one has to do it, and it just runs in the background while you keep your brain on other more important things, right? And then you just come back and check it, or check in JobTread. You don't even have to go back to DataX to check it. Just check it in JobTread, because you'll see the vendor bill with the attachment and the job costing there.
Next one, please. This is too much fun to only start at 2 and be done at 2.
What about the project manager? What about the project manager report?
Yeah,
love this one.
Yeah, this was Peter's idea. Like every day at a certain time when all the work is done, let's look at all active jobs. We're going to review each job, and we're going to look at budget and performance. We're going to use a financial snapshot, and we're going to look at the schedule as well. So we're going to look at schedule, what was budgeted on the schedule, or where it was versus the baseline versus what it is actuals. And we're going to look at the budgeted versus actual costing. And then we're going to read the daily logs and comments for the day and see if there's any red flags, green flags, yellow flags to report.
And Peter, this was one of the first things you were mentioning when you kind of were going through the list of, we can do this, of going, all right, we've got all of this information in this case, JobTread. How can we just pull a report out of it where I, as the owner, or even as the project manager, can get a little bit of a pulse check on where we're at schedule, job costing wise, budget versus actual, et cetera, and have the AI agent called PM Daily Overview, courtesy of having this agent set up in DataX, have this run for us. And you said daily. This could be do this on Tuesdays and Thursdays, do this every day, whatever the case might be.
Yeah. Click done. Yeah, you can set your days, frequency, weekly, every 15 minutes, every hour. You set your time. So I had this running at 5 o'clock Central. And if we look at something like this, it's going to, so there's the instructions, just automatically populate this agent to start at 5 o'clock. And it's going to review everything. You can see these are all different tools. It's working. The AI is working really hard. It's working some more. It's working some more. And it sends an email. So it gives me an overview here. It doesn't give me the actual email in here. But if I open my email, I remember this one being several paragraphs, each job having maybe 2 paragraphs of deep analysis. Here's your red flags. Here's what to do. Here's how to get back on task. Here's what you're doing well. Here's who you need a compliment from a good job today based on XYZ. And it's pretty cool.
Good. And it's one of those things where it reminds us also just big picture technology use overall. A lot of the power of AI is also going to be corresponding with how well are we just utilizing our software and technology. If we're not doing daily logs, that's going to be a problem. If we create a schedule and we don't update the schedule because something changed, well, the report that we just ran isn't going to be as strong. If we haven't fully integrated all of our AR and AP in here, got our cost code. So it's a reminder that make sure your core software is being used regularly and consistently. And then when we have these AI agents that can pull that data and simplify that data for us, now we've got a really nice combo. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, Kyle, going back to another thought you had about how do people get started, these agents might seem big and daunting. Even using it straight out of the library might seem like a huge task. What's really cool is like we built these agents to update themselves. So if you just open a blank
is this
agent,
the whole robots are going to take over the world thing?
A little bit, yeah. So this was the
Crap.
first prompt I gave this agent, this PM daily overview agent. I said, write instructions to look at active jobs and look at each budget versus actual. Then highlight red flags. For each red flag, offer a solution. Write these instructions yourself. It wrote the instructions we showed you, or that this agent uses.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime we need to update something, because just need to tweak it, you can just ask it to update itself because it knows what it needs to get the results you're asking for it.
So we're focused on the AI agents. Now, when I look in here inside DataX where it says new chat, that almost looks kind of Claude or ChatGPT-esque. Tell us about that.
That's what it is. So one thing that
Peter also, I heard tell me not too long ago, hey ChatGPT guy, ChatGPT is the horse and buggy of AI. I have never been insulted and cut to the bone so hard.
There's nothing wrong with the horse and buggy if you like going slow and enjoying the scenery.
So for those people that are using ChatGPT, get over to Claude. Is that the punchline of that?
I think it's a race, and at one point, Claude is currently ahead. There's indications OpenAI's put a lot of money and effort into their, competitiveness with Claude. So 6 months from now, they could be ahead. But Claude, I think overall from feedback is the best.
Yeah. But both of those frontier, we call them, they're labs, like they're AI labs, and we call them frontier labs or frontier models. They use every single thing that you type to it as training for the next model. And so, Kyle, you asked this looks like ChatGPT. This is a little different. Peter, if you want to explain what DX1 is and maybe why someone would be interested in this versus ChatGPT.
When we first came out, like this AI stuff, users were asking us like, what happens to my data, right? And this idea that Elliot's describing is when you type your stuff in, it goes into some thing that we don't know what that is. So we host our own AI model. So your data is secure, like within our system. It never gets released. Like the other AIs, it can't be trained on in that sense. So there's like a security factor because you're asking it for, your business information.
So it adds a whole other level of work that is involved on the DataX side, I would imagine.
Yeah, it is. But it's, we like to be nerdy about this kind of stuff and try to stay forefront. And this is huge. A lot of people are concerned about security. So if you don't want to deal with that, or if you don't want to expose all of your employees in your company to that, you like on a single DataX account, they all get access to this DX1 AI model that DataX is hosting, and it's a safe place where they can only talk to your job tread, and it has basic general knowledge. So you don't have to worry about them doing side work using your AI subscriptions or security issues or leaks and data leaks.
What are some of the prompts that you like to put in here? Some of the questions I see a couple of them down there of like, show me my active jobs, boom, pulling that out. But what are some other things you guys enjoyed putting in there, or users do?
Peter, do you have some favorite prompts? I've got some big nerdy ones.
Some big nerdy ones. I like to use the chat for like simple, quick things I'm trying to understand on like specific jobs. So, am I over budget on the Smith bathroom job, or like simple, quick stuff like that?
I like to ask it. So there's this new theory that I'm kind of trying to do with my AI. Instead of me telling it what to do, I'm trying to get it to tell me what to do. So I try to give it all the context and all the data about a situation. And I say, okay, tell me what to do, or how do I get the most ROI, or how do I these are the goals, help me get to those goals based on this context. And so that's kind of where I'm trying to go to. So a good one is like, hey, you're an expert in residential construction in Middle Tennessee, and I've got a client that refuses to pay until this certain milestone, but it was outlined in the contract at this milestone. What's the language I need to help get there, or how do we get to resolving this, things like that.
Okay. Got it.
Want proof that AI visibility is driving real business? Builder Funnel has helped their clients generate qualified leads and projects from ChatGPT and Gemini, expand into new markets while attracting higher end projects, and helped a Jacksonville remodeler become the #1 recommendation across AI platforms. Most agencies are still talking about AI. Builder Funnel is already delivering measurable results with it to the tune of 10 million and counting. Visit builderfunnel.com/ROTR to see how they're helping remodelers like you stay ahead of the competition. Builderfunnel.com/ROTR.
We were in St. Louis, Missouri, not too long ago last month, and one of our peer group clients, Jacob with Home Run Design and Remodel out in Washington, he said, all right, we kind of set aside 45 minutes, and he took his technologies and took DataX and took JobTread and took Plod and and said, let's create an actual estimate out of this, that, and the other, and then taking it and schedule it. So we're talking about some very practical things. Now, if I'm a remodeler, and what Jacob did, and I just kind of like your guys' comments and your experiences with this, he had Plod. Do I have a Plod? I have my Plod. It's over there. PLAUD, Plod, which is more of an audio recording. And he recorded an hour and a half on-site meeting with this client where they're talking about everything. He had a prompt that he put through the recording through to organize it by room. So now he's taken audio transcript and organized it by room into actual transcript writing. He then said, all right, here's my prompt in Claude with a C. Y'all with me still? Start to create kind of a scope of work, and then he took that results from Claude, put it through DataX, and that's transcription and DataX and JobTread communicated back and forth. Bada bing, it spit back out an estimate for us. So that's a little bit more advanced. I don't think I butchered that. I think I did a pretty good job of explaining that. Talk to me about some of this more advanced stuff like that. What are you guys seeing? What are you guys working on? What are you guys realizing for time savings, etc.?
That is a good one. We call it Peter calls it lead intake, or I call it cold lead intake, and it does the exact same thing from maybe an email that we get. We have a web form on our website. It lands in our inbox. We scan it real quick, but then it gets forwarded to this agent that does lead intake, and it does pretty much everything you explained except the recording, because we haven't met them yet. So it gives us a great baseline to then call them, set up a meeting, and present to them a lot of data pretty quick.
Okay.
I've seen some use cases where contractors, they go to the house, they identify the scope, in their business model, they identify the scope quickly. And essentially, whether it's a dictation or they've written down notes, they basically send it to the agent, like on the way back to the office. And the instructions they have are something about, building my budget in this format, my schedule, and come back to me with any comments or concerns or red flags I might have missed. And then they have things in their instructions saying, I usually miss on dumpsters and I don't count for enough porta potties and all that kind of stuff. So he gets back to his office and he has his JobTread, the schedule, budget, and these notes kind of already like ready for him to go. So that's you want to talk about producing estimates quickly. Yeah. And that's like top notch.
I feel like, go ahead, Elliot.
I was just going to say, Kyle, your example, the next step that we have that I use in Built with Love is after the estimate, it creates the contract with all the pay phasing. It puts the pay phasing in the schedule. It builds out the rough scope of work in the schedule with all the pay phasing attached as dependencies. And then it'll build all the draft invoices for all the pay phases, and it'll build like the draft contract to go with that. I did see another good example this week. Peter, you might have to help me. Was it Anshul? Was it Michael Anshul that had, when they do an estimate, everything we've talked about, except the next step is that his AI builds a landing page. So now it's like his website.com/Smith bathroom that they can open up and present to the client, and they can see it all there with checkboxes to change numbers, to get, they took pictures and it like He runs it through Google's Nano Banana to like the AI render these images that get uploaded on this thing. He says it takes about 5 minutes, so he can do it while he's in the house. And so before he even leaves, he's like, "Hey, let's go through your landing page presentation."
Yeah.
And it's like this beautiful thing with like 6 photos of their space that he got when he showed up that have like AI rendered to be what they were looking for.
And the one example, he had a call to action. You could click and say, "Great, sign me up for your project development agreement."
Right. So the possibilities are already vast right now. It feels like over the last 12 months is when things have started clicking a little bit easier and stronger and better, and seems just more realistic. And we can imagine that 12 months from now, 24 months from now, obviously it's going to hopefully get more and more easy there. I think the getting in the weeds and getting very practical is important, because the examples that we just gave, some people are like, oh, that would be so cool. That'd be amazing to go to. And it's like, time out. Just walk before you run. You haven't even signed up for DataX yet. You haven't even gotten some of these other basic things going. Like, get that going. Even the process. What I've liked about this recording is if you're kind of new to AI, and I said, all right, define an AI agent for me, people are like, oh, I know that better now. There's so much to learn. There's so much to dig into. The other thing I would mention to anybody listening to this, maybe present company excluded, because you guys are obviously eyeball deep in this, there's just flat out regular work that some of you remodelers need to be doing. And you need to give yourself some guardrails, maybe you guys need to hear this too, on how many hours per week you are allowed to devote to AI. What I like to say a lot of times is, you basically, as far as on the business time, a lot of us might have 10% of our time be on the business time. The other 90% is in the business. If I'm a business owner, I'm doing sales, I'm doing some marketing, I'm doing some content. Yes, I'm developing some scope of work. Yes, I'm reviewing some designs. Yes, I'm thinking through production meetings, etc. Most all of that work will continue to go on. And what I'm seeing a lot of people do is devote 40% of their time to researching and digging into AI. And all of a sudden now they're behind on other things. At the end of the day, the client experience is still number one. You need to deliver a remarkable client experience for your customers. But give yourself a little bit of a break. You do not need to have AI all integrated into your remodeling business in the next 40 days. Think about it over the next 40 months. In the month of May, I am going to get this part of AI researched and figured out. In the month of June, I'm going to get this. Take some pressure off. It's not a sprint. It's a little bit of a longer runway. And frankly, 2 months from now, it'll probably be easier to implement some of this stuff. And 4 months from now, it'll be easier. And Elliot will be up until 2 a.m. figuring out that next agent. And Peter will be like, hey, I got this idea. How do we get this done? So I just want to emphasize that. Chill out, everybody. Chill out. It's going to be amazing. It's going to continue to be amazing. There's already practical things that you can be doing in your business. But it's okay if you don't have it all done. Focus still on your team. Focus still on your clients. Focus still on improving processes. And keep integrating AI as you go. And you look up 6 months from now, you're like, man, we've got this, and this done. But I just feel like some people need to hear that. And also, again, what problem do you want to solve with AI? Start with something small like that. And don't be overwhelmed. Sorry, I had to get on my soapbox there, boys.
No, 100%. I think that's a lot of what we were experiencing at the conference last week together. When
you guys were at the FAST conference?
Yeah. Okay. And it's like, a lot of people were talking way up in the clouds. A lot of people were at the bottom, like kind of asking, hey, help us get up there. And there was like this big gap in between, and both sides were frustrated, on that same part.
I mean, that's what we've been talking about here. Like, let's get into the ground level of this. Oh, so you sign up there. Oh, so you click that. Oh, so this is how it works. This is where a lot of people need to be living right now, is in seeing the actual how do we do it, and then going and working on mimicking that. Well done.
It's like anything else, like the levels of, you're like in our industry, like craftsmanship, right? You don't just show up day one and you're a master carpenter. Yeah. There's levels you have to pass through. We kind of have this like 7 levels thing that we've kind of view AI through. And most people think level 7 is like, you got all your stuff connected and it's all autonomous things. And it's like, that's where people want to be. We need to be at level 1, 2, and 3, which is learning how to use it as like a, drafting your emails, reading stuff, reviewing stuff, like a research tool, a thinking partner first. right? You can just show up like, oh, I can do this master carpentry stuff, even though I'm an apprentice. It doesn't work like that. Work
Yes.
up. Let's
Yes.
learn.
And then what's with the tokens thing? How does the tokens thing work? Define that and describe that, please.
Hey, Kyle, can we share a screen again? I think that would be...
You can. Give me your best final 6 minutes. The best stuff that you want to share.
Let's do let's go through the 7 levels Peter was talking about real quick, because we do talk about the tokens and context window and kind of what that is in there. So like the first idea is level 1, you're at like a writing assistant level, autocorrect, grammar correction, drafting emails, drafting content. Level 2, you're like asking AI to ask you questions, and that's where I really like to live when I'm trying to get ideas out there. And I think a lot of people can jump up to level 2 AI level 2 usage pretty easily by just changing how you prompt the AI. Level 3 is a research tool, asking it to compare different materials or techniques, go find the hard to find details. I had a customer that wanted a very specific drop ceiling style, uploaded that screenshot to AI, said go research, and it found it from this like really random website.
Well, I like this levels of AI adoption. It just relaxes the whole conversation a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And people listening to this, stop trying to be at level 6, which you haven't even seen on the screen yet. You're still at level 2, and that's okay. That's
Totally
okay. You are
okay.
Yes, it's okay.
The bottom of level 3 says you start asking it to write prompts for you. So you're saying, hey, I want to build an estimate. Can you help me write a prompt so we can get to that estimate? So you can build estimates first time. So you might go through Claude or ChatGPT asking it to do all this stuff until you get the final result. You're like, that's a beautiful estimate, final result, whatever we just worked on. Give me a prompt so we can get that first time next time. It'll give you the prompt it needs. Level 4 is a power user. Like that's where it starts getting really fun. You're using projects, you're using context, which we'll talk about in a second. You're building artifacts and micro apps. Maybe you don't like a scheduling app that you pay money for. You ask Claude to like build your own, and that's when you start building like these micro apps inside of your company. And we start connecting your business data. Maybe you start connecting JobTread, you start connecting Todoist or Monday.com or these other things to your AI. But context it starts to get important here. And what that is, imagine like a piece of paper.
No, Peter and I, it makes sense why we're wearing hats. Is that your actual hair? What do you got a hat on for?
Yeah, that's my actual hair. I didn't do it this morning.
If Peter and I had that kind of hair, we wouldn't be wearing hats.
It just takes a lot of work. It takes 7 minutes to do it every morning, and just skipped it.
Yeah, and AI can't do it yet for him. So put a hat on.
Kyle, you asked about context. You want to think of that as like a piece of paper. You have the front and back of the piece of paper. You can change the font size to get more words on the piece of paper, but the piece of paper is still the piece of paper. And different AI models have figured out how to get the font smaller, how to get the font on the front and the back of the paper. But once you give it all the context about your situation and it fills up the paper, when you give it new info, it has to erase the stuff that you gave it first. So that's where people start hearing about like your context window. You lose, the AI forgets what you told it maybe an hour ago because it was at the end of the context and it had to remove it to add the new context, what you're giving it now. There's this thing called compaction, which when your paper gets 75% full, the AI will go and compact the context down to be, let's say, 15% of context from 75%. But it's going to lose the details, but it understands the macro of what you're telling it, right? And so compaction is one way to help use your context window. You'll see Claude, they just announced a 1 million token context window, which is like the biggest context window that we have right now. So you can give it a bunch of information. You give it like 4 or 5 massive novel books, and it would remember every detail of it. So that's what you want to talk about context. But context relates to tokens. Tokens, think about as like 3 or 4 characters the smallest amount of characters that make sense in a word. So like bird might be 2 tokens, BIRD, or BIRD as separate. It depends on the models. All the models cut up tokens differently and read tokens differently. Or if you see like characters right here. CHA might be a token, RA might be a token, CT, ERS. So you've got 4 or 5 tokens in that word characters there. That's the smallest chunk that makes sense to the AI. And so when you talk about context window, it's talking about how many tokens. So some models have 128,000 token context window. Some have 256,000 context window, and some have 1 million token context window. Getting back to the levels, level 5, you're the builder. You start creating solutions on purpose.
Got some deep nerdy waters there for a second. I kind of liked it.
That's good.
Yeah, it was fun.
You start automating tasks. You start connecting your business data seriously. So we talked about connecting JobTread and maybe your to-dos, but then you start putting it in an agent form where it's starting to run and analyze that data automatically. The architect, you immediately see solutions to all your problems using AI. So if you're, say, remodeling space and you say, oh, I need to capture video and I need to get it into my computer and do a 3D model, and you start thinking about how can I do that with AI or with software versus the old way of thinking. We're like, I just have to do this the hard way. I have to hire somebody. You start trying to figure out how to do it yourself or how to bring on different software and different AI to incorporate multiple softwares into a single workflow to get you the results you're looking for. That's the architect. Cyborg is you start automating tasks without human triggers. So that's what we talked about, the AI agents doing stuff without human interaction, and it just does stuff. So that's when you really start stepping into the cyborg era. Automations trigger other automations. Automated analysis triggered automated solutions. So the next level to that project manager analysis agent that we saw earlier, the next level, we haven't gotten there yet, but as if that project manager analysis at 5 o'clock every night, if it has a red flag, how cool will it be if it woke up another agent, said, hey, I see some red flags for financial stuff. Hey, financial agent, can you go dig into that deeper? Hey, schedule agent, can you go look into that deeper? So that's the next level. It doesn't really exist yet, but where the agents can start waking up other agents and they're helping and talking to each other. And it sounds kind of crazy. But then there's a bonus level utopias where humans no longer work and we get to focus all our time on leisure and creative activities. I don't know if we'll ever get there. Maybe soon. We'll see. But like I said, cyborg is very hard right now with the tools that exist. So we're still a ways away from that, but we can dream, right?
We can, folks. We can also get very practical and just think about the very specific, simple ways that we can utilize AI that have nothing to do with cyborgs and utopia. Some might even argue, is that utopia? I see that the definition is next to utopia. We'll have all kinds of time to be all philosophical because the cyborg will be doing the work. Who knows? I do like the fact that we're in the remodeling world. And while there are probably some robots that will be able to do some of that painting on that, all things considered, it's a really good industry to be in during the, the era of AI. It's a really good space to be. And from being a coach for 18 years, it's super interesting how I can look back and go through, we had a number of years where it was like, wow, just the cutting edge people are starting to use technology. And you're still what? You're handwriting what? You're still, what's your spreadsheet? Wait, you're doing that? And it's just been interesting over really since COVID and the year after. Man, the implementation of software and tools to increase productivity efficiency has just been rapid. And now we're on this new kind of frontier of, all right, we can use some of these AI things to simplify things for us. And I think that's the key. Make sure you're working on this to simplify things, not to overcomplicate. And you do have to wrestle. It's not snap a finger and it's done. You got to dig into it. You got to work through some of those levels to get there. If people want to know more about DataX, where do they go, gentlemen?
DataX.to. DataX. So DATAX.to.
Why .to?
We're connecting all your data to. Well, that too. I was gonna say you're connecting all your data.
Peter's a straight shooter. He's like, that's what was available, dude. That's why. Yeah. When I saw it earlier, I was like, I wonder why that's .to, but it's all good. DataX.to.
Well, as I was saying, DataX we're connecting together. The first two letters of together is to.
Bingo. Bingo. Some would say that those two characters are a token, just one token.
That's
But it
right.
depends on what model you're using. Sometimes that might be two tokens. How'd I do, Elliot?
Yeah, that's great. Perfect.
I was listening. And then Peter, final word. If they heard nothing else, but there's one thing, maybe a reminder or maybe kind of a good takeaway, what would be kind of your big takeaway for our listeners?
Overall, FOMO is real, and don't be chasing that. Don't try to solve problems that don't exist in your business.
I like it. Bam. Final word. Even though I said final, I mean, I guess I get the final word because I was wrapping it up.
I had a lot of tokens left. I had to use
That's
them.
true. That's true. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Thanks for getting into the weeds of AI and also for teaching on a variety of things. I think the people listening to this are leaving it not overwhelmed, other than that cyborg thing, but a little bit more empowered on how to do this. Check out datax.to, and we'll see you guys soon. Keep up the good work.
Thanks. Good to see you.
Thanks for tuning into the Remodelers on the Rise show. Whether you're listening or watching, I appreciate you being here. If this was helpful, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. We're putting out new episodes every single week focused on helping you build a better remodeling business with real stories, practical ideas, and things you can actually take and use. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button and turn on notifications so you know when new episodes drop. If you're listening on a podcast app, a 5-star review goes a long way and helps more remodelers find the show. We've got great links below or in the show notes where you can connect with us, check out our remodelers community, and learn more about our coaching and resources. Appreciate you very much. See you on the next episode.